Hey, welcome back to Montreal Connected. Now, the Sochi Games might be the last time we see NHLers in the Winter Olympics. And for a look at the future, I guess, of international hockey, we're going to turn to Ted Bird and Sean Gordon. I'm going to start with, maybe going back a little bit, a little backstory on this. Who wants the NHL not to be in the Olympics and why?
The owners and money. It's that simple. If you run a National Hockey League team and you've got a building that you have to fill, whatever it is, 41 dates a year, you don't want to have to take a 2-week break in the middle of the season. And yeah, it's good. There are ancillary benefits, and this time around they got a better deal than they did in the previous Olympics. But fundamentally, that's where we're at. I mean, it's the league and the owners who would prefer very much not to have to take a 2-week break in their activities and send all these people overseas.
Okay, well, we've seen this debate before, obviously with the lockouts that have happened in recent years, and now with the Olympic Games. How do the players feel about this?
I think the players enjoy going to the games. I haven't heard one yet complain about it. The only complaints you hear is if somebody gets left off the team, and it's not. I don't know if it's a complaint as much as it is. They feel bad about it. They want to go and represent their country. So I think they're happy to go. But I think this time around, looking ahead to 2018, there's going to be some kind of deal that's going to have to be made, whether it involves maybe resurrecting the World Cup, which is something that the NHL owners can make money off. Mm-hmm. I think the players are going to have to find something that they can give back in order to be able to go to the Olympics again next time around.
Well, and the World Cup thing was actually part of the negotiations in the last collective bargaining talk. It wasn't a huge part of it, but it was something that was brought up by both the Players Association and the owners. It's something that they could control the TV rights to. They could get all the money instead of having to split it with the IOC. They could run the tournament at a less disruptive time of the year. They could do it, say, in August or September. There are very good reasons for wanting to do it that way rather than doing it in January or February at the Olympics. And I would expect that to happen, except that there might be a bit of a groundswell from some of the players to say, well, we kind of like mingling with the hoi polloi in the athletes' village and all that stuff, and feeling part of something that's bigger than just us.
Okay, well, sticking to the NHL player perspective, then, what do you guys think? Do you think Olympic gold trumps Stanley Cup?
No, not in the minds of NHL players. I don't think. I think that the hierarchy, what is it, Maslow? Was it Maslow's hierarchy of needs or whatever it was? And anyway, you have no idea what I'm talking about. All right, it's like
we're not listening.
First year sociology rears its ugly head. Anyhow, in the NHL, exactly in the NHL hierarchy, the Stanley Cup trumps all. I do think. I mean, gold medal is a bigger deal maybe than it was since NHL players have started to go, and it is something that I think players want. But fundamentally, I think that the Stanley Cup trumps everything, which is why if you force players to choose between the Olympics and a World Cup, I suspect that they might choose the World Cup.
My short answer is no, but I also think it's an apples and oranges thing. I think for Canadian players and American players too, obviously, Stanley Cup is huge. Scandinavian players grew up with a more international perspective. Eastern European players grew up in a more insular environment, so it might be a little bit different for them. But I think at the end of the day, as a professional hockey player, an NHL player, you aspire to the Stanley Cup, but I don't think there's a bigger honor or privilege for them than representing their country in the Olympics.
Well, I guess you're a product of your environment. It would be tough for any of those Russian players to say that they didn't want to win that gold medal in Sochi. Okay, well, going forward then, let's take devil's advocate on this for the NHL. The benefit of the NHL being in the Olympics, doesn't that grow the NHL in international waters?
It does, and you can make a case for them doing it in Korea. I mean, I think there are issues in that. There's only ever been one, as far as I can tell, there's only ever been one Korean-born NHL player, Richard Park, and he learned how to play hockey in Toronto, Ontario. It's a 14-hour time difference, which is going to make TV deals a little trickier to get. This being said, the interest of the IOC and the interest of the Canadian Olympic Committee is for them to have hockey there so that they can get a bigger television deal for North America. And so, it's the kind of arrangement where if the NHL does this right, and if they're just diffident enough to get a better deal even than they did this time around, then why not? I mean, it could happen, except that, I don't know, having gold medal games at 5 o'clock in the morning, I don't think is going to appeal to anybody.
I've been actually up. I'm up for breakfast television early, so I love it. I love the early games. Well, listen, we talked about the player's perspective, the owner's perspective. From a fan's perspective, we obviously love to see the NHLers play in the Olympic Games, and we're all looking forward to that gold medal game on Sunday. Thanks for doing this, guys.
You're most welcome.